I predicted AI was going to take over 2 years ago. And turns out I wasn't wrong about it at all. You can go back and watch that video. I'll leave a link in the description. But what I want to talk to you about today is all of these YouTubers who are lying and saying that AI creates seamless textures in Photoshop, and it does not. And I'm going to show you some truths behind AI and some not so truths. But today we're going to explore everything that you ever wanted to know about patterns and making them seamless in Photoshop. And I'm going to tell you what AI can and actually can't do. And I'm going to break that down for you in the most simplest terms while exploring the new Photoshop Beta 2023. I'm Charlotte Salcedo, your host, photohacklovers.com, and you can like and subscribe for more content. I know that most of you who are watching this channel are not subscribed, so please go ahead and click that like button, and let's go ahead and get into this. Now, shall we? So first I want to start off by showing you what AI isn't. And if you look really closely, AI generated this texture. And I'm going to show you the texture that I created versus what AI created. And this is what I created here. And so you could see a huge difference in quality. So when people are making these claims that AI is just some magical tool that could create these amazing things, it cannot. Now, of course, the information that I'm going to be giving to you is going to be coming straight from Photoshop. And how you can get there is you go to Help. At the top menu here, you go to Photoshop Help, and it will bring up a dialog box here, and you can type whatever you need help with, and it will pop out a tutorial. Usually it will be a video tutorial, or it will take you to a website. Now, most of these tutorials are very complex. It's a lot to read. Some of the stuff is not easily understandable by a newbie, but I'm your girl, your Photoshop queen. So I'm going to go ahead and explain it to you in the most simplest terms and help you understand all of the AI techniques and what works, what doesn't work, what is being told as a lie out there, and basically a breakdown of the steps, the step-by-step very easily. So you can understand, because I have gone through a lot of these tutorials on the internet, and they're horrible. They're really hard to follow, and I basically had to come here and read this information and basically, go from there. Because I was really excited when I saw a video tutorial from somebody saying like, oh, you can make seamless patterns in AI with Photoshop. No, you can't. You can make them with the pattern fill tool with like ping objects and stuff like that, but it doesn't really work well for textures. And as you know, I create textures and I sell them, so I have come up with a very genius way on how to make textures by hand. I'm going to go ahead and show that to you, but I also am going to show you this, which is the new, well, it's not really new. It's a pattern tool that you can create seamless patterns from objects. And I'm going to go ahead and show you that. I'm going to be doing a Betty Boop tutorial on that. So when you get done with this tutorial, you're going to know everything that you could possibly know about creating patterns in Photoshop. You're going to be an expert. And there's nothing that you won't be able to make seamless after I get done with this tutorial. So it's very important that you watch this to the end. And I'm going to actually put links to these Adobe articles in this video, so that way you can reference back to it if you need. So the video I'm talking about is this video, where it has really half-assed instructions and it does not make the pattern seamless at all. And I'm going to show you right now.
That motherfucker back there is
So let's
not real.
learn how to create generative fill the right way. So we're going to create a new document, and it's going to be 3600 pixels by 3600 pixels, 300 DPI. And we're going to click OK. Now we're going to create a new layer, or with the layer that you already have that's the white, unlock it, and just fill it with black. Okay, next we're going to get the marquee tool, and we're going to press shift and drag out a square. Okay, and you can fill it with whatever pattern you want, or you can take an image and drop it in there. Of course, sometimes it's not making a perfect square, so we're going to have to do this again. I'm resizing the shape here, right? And then once you get a really good angle there, go ahead and get the rectangle tool again, press shift, drag it out, and just try to get how you want your fill to look like, the part of pattern you want. Then we're going to select that, inverse, delete, so we can delete the excess pattern. Select the pattern layer, press Ctrl A, and then center as I'm doing on the screen. So before I get into this, I just want to point out that this is a very complex part, and I'm just proving to you after multiple attempts to create a seamless pattern with AI generative fill, it's not possible. I also reached out to Adobe, and from their own content creators, it's not possible. So I'm just debunking the clickbait people. Now, I do want to let you know that if you do not have generative fill, you need to upgrade Photoshop either to the beta or to the most recent release. To access generative fill, if you don't see the toolbar, you're going to have to go to select, edit generative fill from the top bar of Photoshop. Okay, or you can do the shortcut key Control or right click with the selection active and choose generative fill from the menu. So you have to actually select it to affect it, like I've always said. Now I'm going to give you these instructions first because it is very difficult to understand before I actually get into the tutorial. Okay, so you're going to select the background layer that's black. Press Ctrl A to select it all. Very important that you pay very close to this attention to these details, because generative fill is not an easy tutorial to grasp. It's a little difficult. Now, after you have selected that, do not deselect it or anything. Make sure that it has the marching ants around the black background, okay? Now, select the layer with the square shape that you have your pattern on, okay? And then grab the rectangle tool and press the Alt key on your keyboard, okay? And make sure that you hold it down while you're dragging over the square. It does not need to be perfect or anything like that. Make sure that you leave just a little bit off the edge. Just leave a little bit off the edge, okay? Now, you should have marching ants on both the square now and the one in the background. So now what you're going to do is you're going to click generative fill in that bar, and it won't do anything at first, and then it will pop up with a prompt, but don't type anything, and then press generate, and that's how it works. So I'm going to do it again in the tutorial with me actually doing it with you, but I just wanted to explain that first before we get into it. All right, so select the background layer and press Ctrl A to select it all. Now, you're going to select the layer with the square shape with the pattern, grab the rectangle tool and press the button on your keyboard, Alt, hold it down, and then click Generate Fill. First, it's not going to do anything, and then it will pop up with a prompt. Don't type anything and just press Generate. And then now you have your pattern here. However, it's not seamless, and I will show you that. It does not create a seamless pattern. It just fills the background with the image. That is all. So let's go ahead and define a pattern from this image so we can see that it's not seamless.
Yeah, piece of cake.
Go to Edit, Define Pattern to create a pattern from an image.
Yeah, piece of cake.
So what you're going to do is you're going to select the text layer and then click the FX button and then select Pattern Overlay. Okay? And then place the pattern over the text. As you can see, it is not seamless, so I'm moving it around and you can see the lines there. So it's definitely not seamless from Magenta to fill. The next option we have Orangebox, which is a free add-on. It's a free Photoshop add-on. And you can try this out. If it works for you, great. However, for me, I find the results to be quite trash. So you can go ahead and download that. Go to orangebox.com, download it, and install it. If you need instructions on how to install this, I do have that on my website. I'll put a link in the description below. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and show you how to use Orangebox and to create a pattern that way, and I can show you the results of that as well. Most of this AI generated stuff is garbage. So once you have Orangebox installed, you're going to go to Window FX Extensions to pull up the extension and then click on it. The only thing to remember about FX Box is whatever your document is, it needs to be half the size. So if you have a 3600 by pixel by 3600 pixel, it needs to be 1800 evenly to create your tile. Now, as you can see, the results are pretty crappy. It just basically makes a circle and it doesn't really do a good job. And that's all it is. So it doesn't create a really good one. It does have a mirroring effect, but that one is even crappier. So it is seamless though. However, if you're going to create like Photoshop styles, it's less noticeable. But if you are using these as like images, like the quality is not so great. So with that being said, let's move on to the next thing. So the next step, we're going to create an action, and then we're going to create the actual texture. We're going to record ourselves with the action. Now, to create an action, you're going to go to the window and then actions, and then select from the hamburger menu, new action set. Name that set, and then go back to the hamburger menu and then click new action. And then you'll be recording your action. Now, in this video, my actions messed up because I was going from document to document and doing other things, and I didn't save it out completely afterwards. But if you save it out completely afterwards and create a batch file processing, you won't have to do this repetitively. Now let's set up our rulers. Let's go to View Rulers or Control R to get to your rulers. Now let's set up our guides. Select View, New Guides, and we're going to select the horizontal. We're going to press 1800. To know what size, divide the pattern by 2. For example, 3600 divided by 2 is 1800. Now we're going to set up our vertical lines. Go to Guides, New Guide, and select the vertical and then put 1800 once again. So now we have a perfect center, and now we're going to lock these guides so we don't accidentally move them. Okay, and we're going to select our square tool, the square tool, and then select the corner of the pattern, and then create a new layer. Okay. And then press Control V. Now press Control T to select that layer. And then right click on it. Okay. And then you're going to select Flip Horizontal. Okay. And then you're going to shift click with the arrow and drag it over so that way you don't move it, because it's really important that you don't move it outside the lines. Okay. And make sure it's perfectly centered in there. You can turn the guides on and off. I have an extension called Guide, which lets you turn the eyeball on and off. This is free on my website if you go to photohacklovers.com and look at my blog. All right. So now we're going to merge those layers, select them all. Okay. And you're going to press Control C. And now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to press Control T, and we're going to flip this vertical now, okay? And then we're going to press the down arrow button and the shift key at the same time to nudge it all the way down so that way we're not moving it out of place. And then once it's perfectly aligned, press Enter. Now, once this is done, it should give you a perfectly seamless pattern. Of course, it's not going to have the whole pattern like as in here. So if you want to create a seamless pattern from this, like a different part of the marble, then you would select that marble to do the seamless pattern. Now I can go ahead and redo that again and select a better part because I personally don't like this part of the marble. So the bottom part is pretty good. So you would just repeat these steps to go ahead and do that. I can go ahead and fast forward the video of me doing that, and you could see that you can create multiple seamless patterns with this steps, and it works every single time. Now, like I said, if you create an action doing this and then batch process it, you can get perfect seamless patterns every time without AI. So that is my secret tip to you guys.
Much better.
All right, so now that we've created this pattern and we've merged it together, looking pretty good. Now we're going to go ahead and save this pattern, and we're going to show you that it is indeed seamless. Go to Edit, Define Pattern, and then we're going to place this pattern over something. First, I do want to save it out to my desktop as a JPEG with all the other seamless patterns that I've created using this method. And then after that, we save it out. We're going to open it up and define it as a pattern so you can see that it is perfectly seamless and it works and it looks pretty good, a lot better than that AI. So you could see the difference. I'm just flopping back and forth so you can see the difference in the quality of a human doing the work versus AI. So I'm going to place this bad boy over the text by hitting the FX button and doing pattern overlay. And go ahead and select the pattern that I just did. And I'm going to drag across so you can see that it is seamless. So that is the other way. And it's a really simple method. It's a lot easier than the Photoshop method. So if you're not familiar with the Photoshop method, I could also show that to you in a different video. You just choose Select, Other, and Offset, and then you put in half of like what I said. You always have to divide by 2. So if your document is 3600 by 3600 pixels, it would be 1800 that you would put in the offset. And then you would have the chore of having to sit there and clone stamp that shit to infinity, which is too time consuming for me. And it still has really bad results because you're basically distorting your image. So this method I came up with from trial and error. And so this works best for me. It creates the best pattern results, in my opinion. It's the closest thing you're going to get to perfection. I haven't seen anybody else I'm the first one to invent this method. So I hope you guys like this method and enjoy it. And so I'll be moving on to the next thing. And like I said, I'm going to create and go over every aspect of how to create patterns in Photoshop. So far we've done generative fill, we've done we've done orange box, we've gone over Photoshop's other offset, and we've done my pattern version, which so far seems to be the best. So next we're going to go over Adobe's pattern fill tool, which has to do with like singular objects, and we're going to create a Betty Boop pattern. Click File New to create a new document. To bring up the pattern menu, go to View, Pattern Preview. Now on your screen, you should see this like square, and anything that you drop into that square, it's going to automatically be seamless. So you could move it around anywhere. You can resize it, change it, add more singular objects. I will tell you though that this does not work very well with texture. So this is only going to work with like objects, flowers, like singular clip art. Basically, it works good with clip art. So you can add multiple objects and resize it and make some incredibly cool patterns here. As you can see here, I'm adding a second ping image to the document, and I'm just resizing it and just making some type of attractive design with both of those clip arts, the Betty Boop clip arts, and dragging it and resizing it so it looks copacetic. And no matter how you move this, it's going to be seamless. So, I mean, and then you can also add a texture in the background. You can, I'm just going to add like a pink to it because I think that would, match just, of course, the lightest pink there. And so that looks pretty good. And then if you save this out as a pattern, it's going to be seamless. And there you go. So these are all the different steps that you can do to create patterns in Photoshop.
Yeah, piece of cake.
I hope that you like this tutorial and it works for you. Thanks so much for watching, guys.